Hey guys, it's Art by Diana Myers on Facebook.com at the Artsy Rose Shop, and today is Palette Knife Tuesday. And I got this little one I'm doing. I darkened it up a little bit. And we were talking about underpaintings in my private class, my paid membership. And I'm going to kind of touch on that off and on next couple of weeks. But all I did was I scratched this out with a regular paintbrush, which is how a lot of people would start their palette knife painting. And this is actually going to be a Gigunda one. I got a 24 by 36. This is something I've been thinking about. So I kind of want to play with the light on this to make this a dark corner. And basically I'm going to keep scratching out. I got most of the design in there. This shows you where my lights and my darks are. So even though you're going to be palette knife painting, which anybody's going to be taking my classes, I'm going to show you how to use, you know, the palette knife and how to put it on there and stuff. But really, your basic knowledge of painting is still needed. So, you know, if you got some basic knowledge, you'll be fine. But other than that, I can just show you what to do. And you could just use the colors that I'm using. So I'm going to start this. I actually decided last night, I kind of put this in. This is why you can, like, it's good to paint ahead of time. To put another flower right there, I changed my mind. I don't like 4 or 2. I like 3, 5, 7. It just looks better, and I work like in V's. Just something that I do, you know, it just makes things look better. So it's just pleasing to the eye. So I'm going to put this down, we're going to play with it, then I'm going to show you how we're going to color wash it over the top, which is what the next step would be. So I know it's kind of funny sometimes it doesn't come out quite straight because I'm not doing it on a palette, but it's easier for me. It's kind of hard to get this on a palette. But I will be working on a very large one, which is over there. I'd show you, but I have to turn around. And I'll be working on it the next week or 2 or more. And every now and then I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I'll just pop on or I'll just videotape it. But in the meantime, I had just took a little burnt sienna. Really, you can use any color. I used blue in a watercolor I did. Was very similar to this. And I kind of just want to outline this a little bit here again. I just got an old round brush, kind of a beat up one. Just scratch it on here. So basically what I did was I kind of designed what I wanted. And I put the flowers in and I put the glass in. And then I fixed bits and pieces. And if I didn't want it, I just took a little white and I fixed it a little bit. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want before I go and I spend a bunch of paint on something I'm not sure about, you know. And if I really thinking, oh, I don't know, then I go through and just white the whole thing out or just blacken it up. I mean, it's up to you. So you could do a lot with it. But usually these are done monochromatic in one color. The one I showed, it's on the video there. I used 2 different browns and a white just to show a dark, a light, and a medium. So these will be kept dark, but they're not going to be brown. It's just an underpainting to decide what you're going to do. And to show you where your darks and lights are, which makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to color some of this in. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use, but I got the basics from Liquitex. This is their teal. This is a magenta, and I don't usually use these. I got this is a dark blue. What is that? That's the ultramarine blue. Sap green, burnt sienna. This is white, and I can't think. This is a magenta, but I can't pronounce it. It starts with a Q. Never could. All right. So I kind of think I'm going with a poppy theme, which would be kind of purple and black. So I tend to. There's other artists that do the same thing. Sometimes I'll do my vibrant colors first so that they don't mix in with anything else. But that might be from years of doing oil. I like to give it a few minutes to dry before I start messing around the outside of the paint, the subject. So I'm just going to kind of start plopping in some color here. And I put it on pretty thick because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to, I got this red. This is like a scarlet red. It's a little warmer red. It's crimson. Then this kind of neutralizes this, let me get the name of it. This is golden. Quin Sordone Magenta. But I just wanted it really reddish purple. And I'm just kind of going out the side of these first. Now I'm going to palette knife these. Now, you'll see other palette knife artists, they will use some brush. Now, what this does is it just gives you some direction, especially if something is small. I have paintings, I palette knife the whole thing. I don't, the only thing I might do is I might take a rag, which you guys have seen me do, just so I get this startling white in no direction. And I need to know where the dark and the light is, so I'll just brush the whole thing with whatever color. And then, maybe leave it dark on one side or whatever. And it just makes it a lot easier than starting at this big, bright canvas and not knowing what I'm going to do. But that's usually the way with me. I usually start out with, I don't know what I'm going to do. So now I've been wanting to play with this teal. I love teal. I'll put a little white in there. And I'm thinking I'm going to make this jar blue. So I'm just going to kind of start laying it in. Now, it doesn't look that dark yet. It goes dark, whenever you're painting, dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. So start out with a darker, almost a pure color. It's going to be lighter on this side, so I'm going to keep it darker on this edge right here. A bit dark right here. And it's a bluish green. And red neutralizes the green, so I'm going to use a little bit of red in that green. Just a little pile right here. And just kind of darken this up a little bit. It's a trick. This color is complementary, but also will neutralize it if it's mixed together. It looks good next to each other. Red and green, Christmas, but it also will darken up the color a little bit. There you go. Darken this edge up a bit. Alright, I'm thinking I'm going to keep some of this clear right here. So I'm going to get a really light medium blue. We're working lights and darks. A little white in that. Lights a little bit. I'll start playing with the palette knife in a few minutes here. Some colors in. I'm going to pick up some green. Straight sap green. I'm just going to kind of start throwing in some color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I wanted. I might extend some of this over into that corner. I'm not sure if I want light to show through here or not right here. Now, I've been painting for a very long time. I'm self-taught. I taught instruction to other people at Painting with a Twist, and I know a lot of stuff, worked with a lot of artists. Never really got a degree. Took enough classes, I just never... I'd rather just paint. Alright. Not a great student. I never wanted to be. Alright. Well, some people have degrees. I have a sister-in-law who's an art teacher, and another sister-in-law who never really used it, So, it's not good if you don't use it, right? But I know master artists, but I know a lot of stuff. So, alright, and I love to paint, so I want there to be like light coming through the back of this, which means I probably need some warmth, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow. And we're building the paint up, we're building it. This is just what they call blocking in. I'm getting some color onto the canvas. This is cadmium yellow medium. And this is on Liquitex too. This is their heavy body paint. I use a medium body, the ones in the big buckets. Like this size, where are they? This is a big one. I just ordered a bunch of them doing that big painting. So I'm just going to kind of just take this yellow and it's going to mix in whatever I got in the brush. If you notice, I don't use a lot of water. It's just not water paint. It's not oil, so you don't use no medium like you do with the oil. You use different mediums, usually like turpentine, but now they use an odorless type. I use Mona Lisa. It's mostly water. There is things you can use, but mostly it's water. There's a little yellow in here. But it's mostly to clean the brush and to change colors. And just keep the brush moist enough, which I'm not really worried about, to do your work. So, and whenever I dip into the water, I always dab, because it'll take, this is acrylic paint. It dries really fast, but if it's not quite dry, the water runs down, I'll take all your picture with it. All right, so that's like glazing, or you did an underpainting, and you color washed on some color. It's very lightly, you went over it with the darker colors, started filling it in. Basically, you could do your whole painting with what I just did. So I'm just kind of going through and clean it up a little bit here. I'm gonna start palette knifing. Now you wouldn't have to palette knife, but there's a lot of artists. There's a few of them that I watch. They usually kind of, some of them do cities and furniture and different things, and they'll get a lot of their color in. Like I said, don't always do this, but you can just do straight palette knife. A little more tedious. This saves a lot of times, gets a few layers in early. As it does. Now I had like kind of a wooden floor going on here, so I'm going to kind of those in where I had them. See, originally I had something else going. You can see the pencil marks you want when I get done. All right, so now I'm going to use and put this in the water. This is kind of a small painting. I have a small pointy one, really tiny. It's my first palette brush. I have like a gazillion of them now. I have a rounded tip. Where's my favorite one? You guys are wondering what I did to my hand. I broke my finger. Broke. Oh my God, broke it. It's been like 3 weeks. Still hurts like a son of a gun. I just iced it up. Okay, I'm missing one of my things here. Well, oh, there it is. This is a super pointy one, my favorite one. You see it? Right there. And this is a long, rounded, and a tiny pointed one, which I don't think are too easy to find. I've had this like 35 years or so. All right, so I'm going to start with the bigger ones. Just do some big swoops in the background. I'm kind of working on this light. So I'm going to kind of move this around. It won't be in the exact right position, but you'll see, because it's not an easel and I'm pressing down, I beat the crap out of canvases. That's kind of nice to be able just to push down. I had done the last big one I did, my thumb locked up. So I just recently went and bought some big palette knives. So we'll be playing with them. It's going to be kind of colorful, but we can tone this down as we go. Wait a minute. Yellow ochre will tone this down a little bit if you want to. You don't have to. Let's see if I got some here. I don't think I got none right here. I could use a little bit of this brown, though. Tone it down a little bit. Now, usually I use a little glass palette because it's just easier to get the palette knife off it and swip the color around. But I tend to mix on palette, or on the painting. So I was just watching this other artist, this Oriental guy last night. He does portraits. Oh my God. So good. But he does, the big ones, and he puts the paint right on the painting. Like I usually take my glass and put it right on the easel. So I'm just going like this, I ain't get that far to go, and it's closer to matching the color up. A lot easier. So you can do it any way you want to. No one says it has to be on an easel. Some people work on a wall, depending upon a wall, which it destroys your walls. Maybe with a backdrop behind it. Some people use just put it on the floor, work from the floor. Everybody's different. But something that's more detailed, like landscapes and stuff, you really got to kind of have somewhere, like especially the palette knife, you could really pound on it. Now, they say you're not supposed to hit it so much, but I'm very heavy-handed. And I was telling these guys last week that they were like, no, you're supposed to not make any noise. And so, okay, wait a minute. Lots of artists do palette knife. You can make noise, and it depends on how rough the canvas is. And usually, now this one I didn't, I will like take gesso or modeling paste, and I build it up. I mean, and then I beat the crap out of it, and I gotta let it dry. Because I like the texture. I like the tooth of it. I like the way it looks. It looks like a palette. I mean, like you should, to me, you should be able to paint it. You should be able to see the little sections and stuff. You should be able to see the peaks and the valleys in it. I have some bigger ones in the other room because I'm still moving rooms. I'm just kind of pulling out some stuff here that I already have. Like this thing. This was not quite palette knife. It's brush and palette, but you can see like it's raised. And I like that. I'm trying to find some good ones here. Where are you? I'm like going through so much stuff. Oh my god. I have so much stuff. I gotta have another auction. See what I mean? Like, you can see it. You can feel it too. You can feel the texture in it. So you get that a lot of times from building up. It's usually white or clear underneath the painting before you start an underpainting. In some cases, if I know what I'm going to do, like one I did, it ain't out no more. I did like a moon and then flowers, and I made the moon with the modeling paste, and I raised it, and the flowers too. Let it dry, so when I went to paint it on it, all I had to do was one color, and you could see it. I did the blue underneath the moon, and I did the green, and then all I had to do was add flowers, but it was pretty cool. But it's the modeling paste that does it. You always wipe your knife too. It's not like a brush will absorb the paint down into the furrow, but with this, it'll build up on this end, and it'll start chipping. Like if that yellow gets on the red where I don't want it, which is what I just did by accident, you won't like it. So you want to keep wiping your palette knife off. All right, so that's another class with the modeling paste and the gesso. I did a little bit on it in my membership last week about the gesso, but I think I'm going to eventually do one with modeling paste. You can use, there's a lot of stuff you can use. That's not the only medium. There's a lot of things they have that you can, I've been loving, I got another bag with it. I got to get it out. Gaffrey, have you guys ever seen him? That stuff stands up like whipped cream. And it works really. It's not like hard to work with. Now I got a pointy one out. I'm working on my light before I go back to these flowers. Something like when I was originally taught to do, I just painted. I didn't do palette knife. I did oil painting. We were taught to do the underpainting, sketching what we were going to do, figure it out. Usually I was looking at something, flowers or a bowl of fruit or something, old school. And I do that, and then you would do your background, or most of your background. Well, it doesn't always work that way. You can pretty much do it either way now. It's up to you. Especially with the palette knife, because with this pointy one, I can dig in. I can dig in these little edges right here. And because it's not perfect, you're always trying to do... Perfectionism and all that has changed a lot now. So I used to try to do all that and make it all perfect. Well, when I started doing this, I liked art a whole lot better. So you kind of find what you like, and I like being able to just kind of be a little bit avant-garde and do my own thing. And it's a fun thing to learn. And you can fix your mistakes pretty easily. It's all about how it looks, perspective, how you just put it together, what colors you use, and you're not so stressed out about making sure every brush stroke is where it's supposed to be. And kudos to them guys. I give them a lot of credit because that is not easy. Hey, Kath. You love that? Hey, Rose. Hey, Cindy. Judy. Hey, guys. I broke my pinky. I told you. My sister-in-law. My husband's sister. I broke it. Better now, but it's swollen. Oh. And it was doing real good. I did it about 3 weeks ago. And then, I don't know, last week, I hit my hand on the refrigerator making breakfast. Oh, God. I got a brace. I take the brace off. Yeah. So stupid. I fell. I tripped over a nail. Had house socks on, those big thick socks. I couldn't figure out where I tripped over. I was letting the dog out. That's what it was. Jacob came out here and pounded back on the floor. Such a klutz. Oh, my God. All right, so now I kind of want this light to come in here, but if you mix too much yellow into the blue, what happens? It'll turn green. So make sure this part's like kind of dry. That's what, you know, like a lot of palette knife artists do, the oils. And I play with the oils. I do the palette knife with the oil too. But the thing is with the acrylic, by the time I get down there, because I'm pittering around over here, that's pretty much dry. I mean, it's a little here, it's a little dry there. So I don't worry about that so much like I do with the oils. I do wet on wet with the oils too, so I don't worry about if I make a mistake. I'm not worried about it. Now, see, I'm trying to like leave some of that brown out because those are going to be working for me eventually here. Now, I'm keeping this mostly to about 1/4 inch because that's the area I'm working in. Now, if you're working in a bigger area, like I got some bigger, which is over there, some bigger trowels or palette knives. I want to use a lot more paint, and I'm going to use a whole lot more of my knife. And you want to make sure that knife is nice and flexible too. That's another thing. You get something that's real stiff, it's hard to... Now, in some cases, this one's stiff. You want a stiffer knife. But in a lot of cases where you're going and you're doing little details, you want something that's a little flexible so it moves around a little bit for you. FYI. So I'm just doing yellow and white, and I'm trying to get some lights in here. Now I'm going to darken a lot of this up, but I just want a little bit of light here and there. Some of that's going to go on top of my flowers. Now I think I'm going to use a small one. I want more red in these poppies. And the middles are going to be darker. This paint is drying out so fast today. Oh my. Really fast. I don't like that. I don't like that brush. I think it's this red sucks. Let's try a different red. I think that bucket of red has had it. Try this one. Yeah, a little creamier. Don't like that one. And because you got these little knives, you can pretty much scrape off anything you don't like. Alright, so I'm going to take my round tip one, dip into this. This is Artez's Scarlet Red. Really, this is what I need. I did and I did like a really red. And I'm going to kind of come in here like this, over the top of what I got in there. It's darker. We're not going dark to light, always dark to light. Now this is not like just your regular fun painting, which, you know, I do that too. I think tomorrow night we're going to do this one for Valentine's Day. I'll have a little tracer ready for you. So that's a fun painting. So this is a little bit more, but this is something you can practice, you know. You don't have to use these sticker paints. It can get a little pricey. You can come and use like the Deco Art or the Apple Barrel. But if you do that, make sure you get some kind of gel medium, which, where is it? I couldn't find it last week. It is here. It comes in a jar. It's way over there. This is the company. It's which look for Liquitex. This is a gel medium that I use for different things. It says, oh, I'll have to go get it. Where is it? Like I said, folks, I'm still figuring all this out. Where did I put it? Well, it's called gel medium, and mine is gloss gel medium, but you can get matte gel medium. It's M-A-T-T-E gel medium by Liquitex. And it comes in a jar. It's like a thick, it's almost like Vaseline, but it's not greasy. And now when you're doing a big painting, you want to like mix it in with your paints. But when I'm doing a small one like this, and I have to break into a looser paint, this paint's not real thick, I will mix that in as I go, and it gives me that tooth and texture that I'm looking for. But I did a painting last week without using any of that. It's a little more drippy because it's a smaller painting, so you gotta be careful you don't drip it all over, but you can do it. You could use modeling wax or modeling paste, but it's gonna lighten it up. In some cases, people like that. So, and some people work with modeling paste only with no color, and it's all white. Looks like those old-fashioned ceilings. It's pretty cool. So it is doable. So I'm going to take my scarlet again, and I'm just going to make my little kind of petals here. Now the middle of a poppy kind of would stretch, you know, kind of, you'd pull it down. So I'm going to get my small one out and kind of pull this down a little bit. And you're going to want a darker center too. Now I would take this ultramarine blue right here, ultramarine. It's really dark, almost black, but not quite. I'm not big on using black. And mix in some of that darker red over there, magenta. And I'm going to make a little darker center. Now this center is going to have a highlight on it eventually. It's always dark to light, dark to light. It's a little chunky. Take the chunk off. I'm going to kind of just, there you go. Get some of my thing here, so I'm just going to kind of do that. Then I'm going to keep working with that red. I think I can scratch it on like this. Yes. So now you know what underpainting is. And you know what color washing is, where you're just putting color over the underpainting. And now you blocked in some color. That's another technique. And now you're scratching on some paint, acrylic paint. You've learned some stuff about the paint. So you got a lot of bang for your buck today. I'm still going to be putting some highlights here and there. I'm just basically getting the painting in. There's your one flower. There's going to be some lightness on this too. I'm going to let that dry a second. Now you could leave out some of the white areas. I used to be a real stickler about every inch has to be covered, but I remember reading somewhere, which anybody's been watching knows I say this all the time, and I had read that in order to learn great art, you got to go see great art. And guess what? I mean, I don't like pencil marks hanging out and stuff. And I'm not one to, I don't really like parts of my canvas showing. But if it's great art, and that happens too, it's still great art. So don't stress out. This is fun painting. Don't make your life stressed out. Enjoy the process. Hey, Judy girl. Yeah, enjoy the process. Hey, Paige. Hey, Ann. Hey, Clara. All right. Yeah, I was letting the dog out, I don't know, 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And I have one of those standing, what do they call them? You know, dustpans. And I thought I tripped over that. As I went down, I have like a rim edging on the bottom of my wall. I took all the part of the wallpaper down, and as I hit it, I watched it go crank, and it turned to the side. It's like, oh, I know I broke it. And then I can't get up. I have bad legs, so I had my grandson go and get me a thing to. Oh, it was not good. It's a little too perfect for me. I'm going to mess these up a little bit here. I kind of want this like smoother right in here. So you can take your palette knife and kind of go in. Take out a little bit you don't like. Then you play with your knife too. You gotta play a little bit. Now there's all different knives. I'm working with 3. These are usually the 3 that I work with. But I have all different ones I could show you and play with, but they're in the other room right now. I have them on a, you guys know what a magnetic knife bar is? I'm going to attach it to this thing right here. And they're all like magnetized right at, they're stuck right to it. So I will have to do like a 2-day series or something with you guys on the palette knife thing. I'll get the modeling paste out and I'll do like this, and then I'll do one where I start it with the modeling paste. I have done the gesso. Gesso I use a lot like on board that I don't like the texture of it. And I'll also use it to cover up an old painting. But most of the time, every artist that's working all the time has a pile of old paintings. Even really great artists, they find them when they die in their studio, piled up in the corner. Those are my favorite ones to palette knife over because they're already thick and messed up and I don't care. So I will most of the time I just paint over. I'll do one big thing of black or white or blue, whatever I'm doing. And then I'll start palette knife painting. But sometimes, depending on the texture, I might gesso the whole thing first. Takes a while to dry. You don't need to do a thick layer, but like I said, I take my knife and I turn it around and make all these switchy witchies, and it gives them a really, like, the lights and the darks and the shadows look really good. In fact, the last 2 big ones that I sold, both of them I had gessoed, and I had done it because they were old canvases. They were like, maybe they bought them from Sears or something, probably paid a lot of money for them. And people put them in the light, to set paintings in the light, and they're like, all the light was going out of it, but the canvas was all wobbly, and when you put gesso on there, it tightens it up. So I gave it a lot of texture. I have a couple of videos on it, but I sold both. They're big ones. I sold both those paintings, but I got the canvas and it had all the hardware in the back, like so cheap. I couldn't even buy it for that much. Like I paid that 4x4. I paid $100. I didn't pay that. Maybe $3-4. It's huge, right? But the idea is that it gave a lot of texture and tightened the canvas up. So you can paint on anything with that gesso. That's what's nice about gesso. You can use it for anything. I just sent my people in my membership, my FMLs, my founder members, I sent them each a little, just because I love them. I gave them a little glass ornament, and I did an angel on it with my palette knife. It came out really cute. And I gessoed it. I sanded this a little bit, and then I gessoed it with like a gray. I put black in there. And then I let it dry. Took like, half the day. And then I did the angel over the top. So you can do that with watercolor. There is a watercolor ground that I have, which is the same idea. You just put it on. You can put it on tin cans. I've done it on doors, pieces of wood. Wood, most of the time, you can, there's things you can buy, like the paints you can buy that cover it, like chalk paint. But if you're in a crunch and you got some gesso, that'll work too. But we will do that one of these afternoons. But I love how this kind of frees up what you're doing. You ain't got to stress out so much. Having everything all perfect and stuff. And I tend to move this around a lot, so you can go back and watch, though, if you need to. The big thing. One of these days, I want to get StreamYard. I got like a Kindle here, and I can kind of watch them, but I don't know, I still tend to just put the screen up and talk to people. But it's hard to talk to people and do this when it's down, Maybe flip it back on. It's delayed, though. That's the only problem when you do it like this. I got it right here. It's delayed. So, I don't know. I don't like it. I think I'd rather do the StreamYard. Can I see it? Should be able to see it. In real time. This is our by people. Do this one. There it is. I can see it, but it's delayed. Let me flip it back on. It's delayed, though. That's the only problem. That's so weird. Can you hear it? I might have to turn it down. I don't like it. I think I'd rather do the StreamYard. Can I see it? I don't know where the volume is on this. Get like an echo. This is our by people. There it is. I can see it, but it's delayed. It's delayed though. That's so weird. Can you hear it? I might have to turn it down. I don't know where the volume is on this. I get like an echo. Can you guys hear that other thing? Can you hear it? Let me know. See if I get the comments on here. I think I have to turn that one down. Can you guys hear that other thing? Can you hear it? Let me know. See if I get the comments on here. I think I have to turn that one down. Can you guys hear that other thing? Can you hear it? Let me know. See if I get the comments on here. Jennifer, what do I do with that bag of ice? Did I leave it out there somewhere?
A bag of what?
A bag of ice. Get the ice threw ice out and I put it into a bag for myself. Sit right there. Go stick it in the freezer for me. Jennifer, what do I do with that bag of ice? Did I leave it out there somewhere?
Bag of what?
A bag of ice. Get the ice threw ice out and I put it into a bag for myself. Sit right there. Go stick it in the freezer for me. Jennifer, what do I do with that bag of ice?
Still filming?
Yes, I'm still filming. I talk to people, other people, which I won't filming. You guys hear that? That backup noise? Yes, I'm still filming. It's so weird watching it on the other one. Alright. You guys hear that? That backup noise? It's so weird watching it on the other one. Alright, so I'm gonna like put a little where I'm thinking the light's gonna hit on. Well, this stuff's drying out fast today. Alright, so I'm gonna like wow. Where I'm thinking the light's gonna hit on. You know what it is? It's dry air. When I worked in the studio at Painting with a Twist, it was like don't put too much paint on their palettes because we would have the heat on. The heat's right here and it's blowing. I could feel it. The light's coming this way, so I'm gonna put a little light on this side. Not everyone yet. I just kind of want to make sure I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to green up this side here. Oh my God, it's drying off so fast. Oh yeah, I just put this yellow on here. Look how dry it is. It's been like, I don't know what the high is today, but the overnight was supposed to be like, some areas were minus 30. Friday and Thursday, the high was like minus 12 last Monday, minus 9. Thursday and Friday, I mean, it's ridiculous. Something like that. I don't even look, it's just cold. Alright, so now I'm going to put some green in. This one didn't dry out so much. I need some more yellow though. I'm going to get the cad yellow. Medium cad yellow. This is the heavy body. Medium cad yellow. This is the heavy body. And then I'm going to get, I don't know where my ochre is. It's probably over in the other bucket. I got all my stuff situated except for these things, which are never situated, these tubes. I kind of want to go and get, it's just an idea, like, you know those paper, cardboard things that beer comes in, like the glass bottles? I was thinking like taping something like that together, and then I could put these in there like that. So I could get like heavy ones. And the only place I know that might have something like that, they're only 4-packs, is Trader Joe's. You can go over there and you get the little 4-packs, you pick out whatever beer you're going to drink. You can get all different ones. So I was wondering if they would like, let me buy a few so I can do my paints. Alright, so I got some yellow ochre here too. This kind of is like my all-around to make everything look antique because I like kind of like the farmhouse look. And I'm just about out. Ah, too much crapola. Well, I'll just put that into a bucket. So I save these little buckets for the same problem. So I get too much out, and then it dries out. So I'll just put it right into my bucket. Oops. I use so much of this. Certain colors I don't waste, like this. And I just stick in one of these. These are so easy to clean. Dollar store. Now I'm going to mix this in with that green. Now this sap green I use for just about all my plant looking things, my landscapes. In fact, I'll tell you, greens are the hardest thing to accomplish. And a lot of artists make their own greens, which I do. But I basically cannot live without this green. I use this green and mix it in with blues and yellows and oranges, and I make, it's just the hardest thing in nature to make. I'm just putting this on the tip to, I'm kind of slicing with the knife here. You put it on like one side, and as you roll down, you can get more of it. So if you just do on the edge, you get a line. If you bring it this way, you can get more surface. So if you just do on the edge, you get a line. If you bring it this way, you can get more surface. So if you just do on the edge, you get a line. If you bring it this way, you can get more surface. There's some right here. I got like little berries or something here too, or the buds from the poppies. There's buds too. Which I think I got like right here. I'm gonna mix it to the brown and this ochre together. I'm gonna kind of make these little berries. Or whatever you want to call them, pods, or what do they call them? And I can give them a slight tint of red. Just a little bit here. There's one up here. Dark to light. I'm going to put some light color over the top of this. Right now I want to get that darkness in. I'm going to kind of come around these edges and get some of this yellow too. Oh, just about out of white over here. This one right here. I just ordered some white too. I was doing this room the other day, and I got so much stuff to go through. I'm going to post pictures. I can't believe I had so much packed in that tiny little room. So now I want to get like some baskets and bins, and this guy will be stored. And I went and I bought, what do they call those, folders, because these classes I'm taking, they download these books on the internet, and I had to buy the thing you make the holes with, a big one. So I've been doing that too. But I had a book from last year. I took this one course, I never bound it. So I'm doing that too. So there's like paperwork all over. And it's tax time, people. Well, self-employed, you gotta do your taxes. So I really was trying to keep that separate from the painting area, because it's like you're looking at it and you're thinking you gotta do that, yet you want to paint. It's kind of distracting. especially since I know it has to be done, and like, I'd rather be painting. Oh, and I'm not secretarial material. I tell people all the time, I'd make a great greeter. Welcome to Walmart's, but man, I am not even remotely interested in it. And all that kind of stuff, yeah. All right, I'm getting an echo over here, so I'm going to shut this off. It's driving me crazy. Driving me crazy. Now I can't get it off. There you go. So now I'm trying to like have some light right in this area. I'm adding these two yellows here, and I'm trying to get a little lightness over here. So I'm gonna drag some of this yellow and white, like kind of like fade this out. There's actually a name for this where you kind of fade it, mix it into the background color deliberately, and it just kind of keeps the light on that side of the painting. I'm gonna lighten some of this up too. Maybe around the edges here, yellow and white. See, now we're lightening. Your white should be done last. And a lot of times I do use pure white, but a lot of times I will add a little blue to it, because white is not really just white. It's shades of blue and gray and violet, mostly blue and violet. And it can be warmth to the little yellow. And it might be just the tiniest bit. You don't think it's in there, but it's in there. So I'm going to try to keep this on the yellow side too, just right here. As the light's coming here, I'm going to keep this darker over here. Now I will prop these small ones. I find they look the best with a finish. I will put, you know, like my gel gloss medium on it, not medium, my varnish the stuff over the top. Now, this gloss medium is a liquid, and I will use it to do, like when I'm doing mixed media and I want to glue on cardstock or beads or something. I use it for that, but I will also use it when this is completely dry to varnish it. It gives it a nice shine. Now, some people, that's a gloss. I like the gloss ones, but because I like the bright colors, I like the gloss. Some people will want the matte. So some cases you want the matte. Matte's kind of hard to find sometimes, but I think the matte is used, I believe, a lot in people who do portraits and stuff. Portraits. All right, so now I got all this lightness going on here. These little berries right here. I'm gonna keep it light. See how I can get all this tooth and texture? I like that. I like that when it gets this little bits and pieces. Oops. Like I said, I'm gonna be starting a big one like this. So you'll be seeing I already got it up on the easel and got it started. But I'm gonna start the underpainting tonight, which is gonna be a takeoff from this. I love poppies. I had quite a few in my garden up front. They die off eventually up here. But I started some pink ones in the back. Oh, I love them. But they're like a lighter pink. Yeah, maybe I'll lighten this up a little bit of white. There's an idea. See, you're an artist. You can do that. I'm going to mix that ultraviolet with that dark pink magenta. The Cuisinart. And I'm going to darken up this center. Hoping you guys can see this. And I'm going to keep using my scarlet around the edges. Yeah, let's pink these out a little bit too. That wouldn't hurt. Let's pink them out a little bit. Some of that red. Some of this magenta I pulled out. That is it basics or is it artisan? The pretty pink. It's basics. Let's pink that up a little bit. I mixed both those pinks and a little white. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, pretty. Pretty. I'm going to kind of lighten these up a little bit. More towards the center here. Ooh, I'm liking that. A little more color. Yeah. I got new glasses this year, and I love bifocals. I don't care, I just like them. But I tried to sing where the bifocal, instead of just like in the middle part, goes all the way across. Makes the glasses look better, but it's definitely weird. I keep seeing things on the side of my eyes and stuff. But it's the glasses, the way they did it's different. I never really got used to them. I think I would go back to the other bifocal. All right. Take this red. Clean this off. Back to my red. Okay, I want to fix this part right here, right here. That pink is going to work out, but I'm going to need more red. And I'm going to need not enough pink. You would think you wouldn't need a pinky so much. Oh my God. It just seems so complicated. And both those pinks, a little red, and some white. So I got all three of them in there. A little whiter. See, I don't over mix. I leave a little bit of color in there. You know, like stripes of color. And I don't know, I was watching this other artist work, and I'm not the only one. In fact, I think some of your, I was looking at some of the Van Goghs do the same thing. You can tell, like, with his, I just did a sunflower one of his, and you can tell that it's not like, you know, they mix it till it's a solid color. It's not like that. Okay, I need more of this other pink in here, I believe. A little more white. Yeah, a little lighter. I'm liking this pink better than just a straight red. Yeah, I planted these pink ones, and there was like one. You know, it's like one of those plants I can only find one, so I'll stick it in here. Well, now there's like 10 of them from the one plant. But I know as the years go by and they get more and more, eventually they'll start dying back. So I must say the other one's like 20 years. They're just your basic red Oriental poppy, but I'm really liking these pink ones a lot. I'm going to be messing with those greens again. Mostly the dark. I think I'm going to mix some of this ultramarine blue in with the green because this is really dark over this corner. I'm going to get some ultramarine. I should have I usually take a spray bottle. I haven't had to do it in a while. And like you can mist these so they don't dry out when you're working with acrylics. But I very rarely do that. Usually it's pretty humid up here. I don't know if I have a spray bottle out here. But just mist these if they're drying out on you. I don't do it that often, so I don't even think of it. This paint's drying out really fast today. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of mix some of that blue in to really darken this green up. Been mixing the blue in, it darkens it up pretty good. This side is darker. Then sunlight will hit it, but I want it darker. Same thing. Now the tips of this are going to be lighter. This part right here is behind all this foliage, so I'm going to darken it. Sometimes you got to think about where you're putting the paint, where the light would hit. I mean, you know, a lot of your fun stuff, you don't worry about it so much. But when you're doing something that's a little more realistic-ish, you know, this is impressionism really. But you should think about what's around it and where the light is coming from. And the light can be almost anywhere, because I tell you about reflecting light. Like, you know, the light might be hitting this. This light is hitting my Kindle, and the light off there is hitting my soda bottle. So there's always all this light. You guess, okay, it's bouncing here. Some of that would bounce back up underneath here. I'm going to lighten underneath here, because that light's hitting here. It's hitting this corner, the side of this jar, and it's going to bounce off this tabletop. You get a secondary light that's going to hit here, and that'll kind of glow. These sides of this will probably get directly hit by the sunlight, so I'll make them kind of, same thing as I did up here, I'll make them kind of blend in. There's a name of this right now. Do you have a name for this? I can't even think of it. There's a name for it when it does that. When you're blending this in. Keep some of the green in there. So I know just enough about art, you know, I had, when I started painting for them, I was thinking about buying a business like that, and then I can't believe the price of it. This was a better deal. Of course, you couldn't do this a few years ago on your own, you know. I'm with a company of other artists, so they help me a lot. They do all, we don't do just this, we do, oh God. There's some that are sign makers, there's one that's a witch. There's some that do, like, you know, the holistic type thing where, you know, they use this for therapy, all kinds of stuff. But they're basically businesses, you know, just like the painting with a twist was. And when I started doing that, so, oh my God, I love this, right? Well, I didn't know I knew so much stuff, you know, but so when I started putting this course together, you know, and teaching people, you know, basically I'm just painting, but sometimes you got to put it into wording. I had to think about what I was doing, because I had done it so long I couldn't even remember where I got. And you know, I'm a note taker, and I'm a book reader, so I have lots of stuff about it. And I go through every now and then. I'll say, now where did I get that idea from? Or like I remember one time I told everybody the name of a small brush is actually called a rigger. And I told them it was because these guys did boats up in Boston. They needed a really thin, they came up with a way to make a really thin, long brushed handle. You know, it's a real thin, tiny brush with long hairs. And to make the rigging, that's where the name came up from. Well, I wasn't even sure about that, so I looked it up, I was right. But it's just a point that, you know, I mean, it's like driving a car. It becomes such a habit sometimes. You got to check yourself, you know. You don't always need to do it that way, but why are you doing it that way, you know? Weird, right? Anyway, so I figured out I really loved it. And had a lot of fun. It's, you know, it's a lot of fun. You guys ever did a paint party? A lot of fun. Just a lot of freaking fun. That's all I can tell you. Good times. And even the kids' parties, they're a lot of fun. I think a lot of the younger artists were not thrilled about doing the kids' party, but I love them. I like kids, though. I'm the oldest of 10. I like kids. Even the bad ones, I like them. In fact, if they're bad, I like them even better sometimes. They're so adorable. Oh, my God. Okay. Love kids. They're so honest, you know. Just love it. You ugly. Oh, I'm sorry. I had my nephew when he was little, got up in my lap. He goes, you know your teeth are yellow? Isn't you got hair on your face? And you got cracks in your hair, in your skin? Or something like that. 4 years old. Absolutely adorable. I love them. I love kids. So adorable. Okay. All right, so we're finishing this up, guys. I'm going to be working on the bottom here next. Well, I want to put some, I want that dark still, so I'm blue and the dark green, the sap green and ultramarine. We're going to kind of go right in here. It's kind of darken this up a little bit. This is still green. This will kind of separate these a little bit here. The dark will. Pick up some green. And make sure it looks kind of like you want to know this is foliage, not just a dark area. Because there might be light coming in here. So you could take a little yellow or white, which is drying out on me so fast, And kind of just hit this a few places. Like light is coming through. Okay. I'm going to still keep this dark over here a little bit. Okay. Now, we talked about how we're going to kind of